And welcome to the train wreck that is going to be Unfiltered Sports Weekly. I
Yeah,
am
we
I
always
am
say
Andrew.
that. Hi, Beebs. I'm Kev. Um, we always say that, and then it turns out being all right.
Turns
Yeah,
into a glo- I mean, it turns into a glorious train wreck.
I was told last week by longtime listener, no time caller, and no time watcher, and no time commenter. Well, sometime commenter, but I was told that we were a little subdued and went on about college football for too long.
Oh yeah?
I promptly told this person that if he wants to hear specific things, either A, watch or chime
Comment.
in,
Yeah.
comment, or he can take his comments and 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 submit them to the nearest brick wall.
Yeah. Yeah. Did he have any comments for us? I mean, did he have any ideas for us that would make us a little less subdued?
I don't I no, he didn't. It wasn't even constructive criticism. It was just fucking criticism.
Okay.
You know,
Well,
it wasn't constructive, and I could take it with the best of them. I don't care.
well, speaking
Yeah,
of subdued,
yeah,
this evening
yeah.
I went to the Tuesday Night Lights at
Oh,
our
okay,
Florida junior high football
nice.
or middle school. We had this debate. I don't know which one it is still, whether it's middle school or junior high. Either way, I'm watching football, and
Well, in the middle school, are there 3 grades or 2?
two,
Then
seventh
it's
and
a
eighth.
then it's a junior high.
Okay, so junior high football, and it was an all right game. Like we didn't score, but we didn't get stomped. But to add insult to injury, we did lose. But to add insult to injury in the fourth quarter, we're trying to drive the ball down. We got stuck in a deluge.
A what?
A deluge. You ever heard of that?
Well, for the people who don't know what that is, why don't you tell us?
It's a rainstorm.
Yeah,
It's a
it's been
heavy
rain. It's
rainstorm.
been raining here for like 6 months.
I know. And but it's like how like our rainstorms last for like 5 minutes
Yeah,
at a time usually. Yeah, this one lasted for an hour.
yeah,
For a whole hour. I was soaked.
yeah.
I was soaked. It was fun. Not. But I can't think of anything that's more boring than watching junior high football because all they do is run they don't really they can't throw the ball downfield really that much. And the team that they were playing was lined up in the wishbone. You ever watch
Gotcha.
that?
Yeah, oh yeah. It's like watching a 1970s Marshall.
Right. Yeah, boring. They win, but they're boring. Not much fun to watch. Anyway, so if you're out there, head coach of Lake Asbury Junior High football team, can you please like pep it up a little bit? For heaven's sakes, we were out there. We needed a show.
Yeah, dude. If you're gonna run the ball, put some reverses up in there. Let me get some jet sweeps.
Something. Just
Let's run the wildcat. Let's put the running back. Taking the direct snap. Let's have some fun. How about can they don't even throw like screen passes?
yeah, they did. Our side did a couple screen passes.
Yeah,
Actually, they're
but
wide
but they
receivers.
they're not going over the middle to the tight end like
No,
Kelsey style,
no,
right?
nope.
You know.
Maybe once during the game, maybe.
While we're talking about football here for a second, I do want to bring up the Unfiltered Sports Podcast Network Fantasy Football League,
Oh yeah,
and I do want to
oh
bring
yeah.
up the fact that Christian McCaffrey is now out for like
Man,
weeks, and
so
remember somebody drafted him with the number 1 pick.
yeah. Now I'm paying for it.
Yeah,
I was in position, Kev. I was in
yeah.
position. Like it was saying, hey, you got a pretty good probability of winning. And then like somewhere between Baltimore, and this is it. Like I'm talking to a guy on the flight from Baltimore to Jacksonville. I'm like, yeah, I got a fantasy football team going. I got a pretty good team. Like I got Christian McCaffrey. I feel like he's going to be a really good pick. And then somewhere in between Baltimore and Jacksonville, they announced that he was injured and not going to be playing with zero time for me, to swap them out for anybody. So yeah, that was the end of my fantasy week.
Yeah, it didn't really. They did hold back that injury way late.
Way
You
too long.
know,
Way too long.
way too long. And
It
it
screwed
didn't
me bad.
really. It didn't screw the gamblers because Cisco still covered the spread, winning 32-19, I believe. But it screwed a lot of fantasy football teams. You know, because
I had to go claim a guy on waivers.
yeah, I mean, for my team, I have Jamar Chase, and he was a game time decision. So I kept like watching and watching and watching. You know, I'm like, oh man, do I need to put in Gabe Davis?
Yeah,
You
and
know,
I was in
but
a I was in a position to I was in a position where I didn't have a lot of time to stare at my phone because of just what
right,
was going on. So like, yeah, I was in like I was actually kind of pleased with how the rest of my fantasy team went, and if I just had him, like things might have been okay. But
right.
no,
Did you win your game?
no, I
Okay,
lost. I lost basically like you know how they have the assumed number of points that someone can
yeah,
score in a game.
the
Yeah, I
projected.
lost by essentially his projected score. That's essentially what I lost by his projected score. So I was
Okay,
upset,
yeah.
needless to say.
Uh,
Everybody else played all right, you know, like not super awesome or anything like that, but it was in the quarterback, my quarterback choice, you know how we said, "Hey, you should choose Justin Herbert instead of Lamar Jackson." Yeah, that was a bad choice.
well, one thing I've learned from many years of playing fantasy football is don't overreact to week one. You
Sure.
know, everybody's going to have to deal with injuries at some point in the year. You know, week one is not a winner or a loser. It's just like every fan that lost in week one. They don't need to freak out yet. You know, yeah. There's dusting off the cobwebs. You know, so
Sure.
I got worked. You know,
Did you?
yeah, I got
I think we face each other this week.
yeah, I got worked.
You might
So
work me again because the
I
guy I picked up
might
on the waivers, he's not that great.
you know,
So
but I'll tell you, I was looking at your roster. You have that Xavier, whatever, for the Chiefs.
worthy. And
Yeah,
he's right now he's on my bench, but I think I'm gonna move him over to
yeah,
flex.
yeah. That you might want to start that dude. He's the fastest dude in the NFL.
Yeah. I have Rashee Rice
Yeah,
as my flex receiver, but I might swap him out, even though Rice had almost scored as many points as Worthy did last week. But either way, I think those two are maybe I should just move Rashee Rice over to my receiver core and
did
just
you
drop him in the slot.
did you happen to see any surprises in the NFL Week One? Did anything really surprise you?
Well, I was surprised that the Bears won.
Okay, they came
Um,
back too. They were getting beat
and
pretty good.
and Caleb Williams only threw for like 89 yards and still won. That's a surprise. I
Testament
was
to their defense.
Yes, they must have built a good defense. Um, I can't remember who they were playing for the life of me, but um,
I believe they
that's
were
kind of, I
playing
mean,
the Tennessee Titans, were they not?
maybe. But what I can say is, what's the old adage? And I'm going to use this more than once. If you can play bad and still win,
Yeah,
that means you might be good.
yeah.
If you can play bad and win, you might be all right
It's like the opposite of the Jaguars, where you play good and lose.
and lose. Yeah, we do
Yeah,
that
yeah.
because that's what happened.
That's called um how do they put it?
It's snatching defeat from the
That
jaws of
jaws of
victory.
victory,
That's
right?
right. Snatching defeat from the jaws of victory. Yeah, no, I'm at a funeral. Right. And we're all sobbing and sad. And all of a sudden I look down and see all these text messages about what the hell's going on. I'm about to throw my TV out the window. And then I saw the score. I was like, oh, they lost for the last second. So that's great.
I believe that I didn't say out the window. I believe I said I was going to deposit it in the middle of San Jose Boulevard, and that was a major thoroughfare.
And yes, that's right. That's what
I
you said.
believe that. I believe that's what I said. You
Mhm.
know, I've watched over 100 Braves games in this tough season that we're in here, barely clinging on to the wild card, and I haven't gotten as mad at them as was at the Jacksonville Jaguars on Sunday. I mean,
Yeah.
I was literally it ruined my day, I'm just I remember when I sat down to watch that game, I looked over at the soon wife and I said, I think I'm ready to have my heart broken again.
Whoops.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, Miami's a good team. It's a playoff team from a year ago, and we had them.
I
We
think
had them.
I think Miami, if they could have home field advantage throughout the playoffs,
Mhm.
now we're talking, right? I
Well,
think they're that good.
I
So
think I think it was stupid to schedule the Jags for week 1 because especially early in the year, Miami's home field advantage is the heat.
yeah,
And to schedule another Florida team is dumb because
right. You want to do it in the like later.
yeah, I mean, well,
Yeah.
it just I don't think it's such no matter what time of year, it's just not a big home field advantage to a Florida team.
Yeah.
Get somebody like the New York Giants down there or the Green Bay Packers down there, that's not used to the, upper 90s heat as it was on Sunday.
So speaking of like teams you shouldn't schedule early,
Mm-hmm.
like there's one team in particular you might not want to schedule early.
Okay, who's that?
Then that's Northern Illinois.
Yeah, yeah. Notre
Yeah.
Dame likes them.
Mm-hmm. A little bit. And they're kind of a fraud, I think. And that's not fair to them that they were ranked so highly. Couldn't really figure out why they were ranked so high. But I think
Because they're Notre Dame. That's why.
Yeah. And Northern Illinois didn't like. I mean, I think I said last week Notre Dame doesn't have a very good offense,
Right.
and I think they just kind of showed us they have a good defense, but not a very good offense. If you can't, if you can't win the game and you've held the other team to 16 points, that's a bad day.
And they play Florida State later in the season.
Should be an interesting one. That one.
Mm.
Yeah. The other teams that you might not want to schedule apparently are Bowling Green, Tulane, Houston, and Boise State, because we were sitting on the edge of like 8 upsets over the weekend,
Right.
and it was like I cannot tell you how I was sweating during the OU game. That was a home game to Houston, and they took them. Now I'll say this: Oklahoma's defense is a lot better than I expected. Didn't think
It better be.
it needs to be.
Yeah.
Right, because apparently their offense sucks. Right,
And that's the curse of Spencer Rattler.
maybe supposed to have a good offense, but apparently like we can't score and we can't throw the ball, so or run the ball for that matter. So if Houston holds you under 275 total yards for the whole game and you don't score more than, what was it, they won 16-12 or something like that, or some stupid number. Yeah, anyway, I was upset at that.
Even Bama had problems with South Florida for a while.
Yeah, that's something. The score doesn't indicate how the game actually went on that
Yeah,
one.
because they scored like 3 touchdowns in the last 8 minutes.
Right,
I mean, but it was like 14-13 for forever.
right. So until the last 8 minutes of the game, they were sweating it.
Yeah.
And then Oregon played. Look, I would not want to schedule if I'm a top 15 team. I cannot think of a good reason to ever schedule Boise State in your first 2 games of the season.
Mm.
Can you? I mean, I just can't. Like, Boise State is known to beat teams, is known to
Sure.
go out and win big games. So it's like, ugh, that's a bad idea. And Oregon, they are lucky to win because Boise State for the longest time was kind of putting a hurting on them. I wouldn't say a hurting on them, but they were the better team for long periods of the game. And I watched that game because that's when I was able to. But Iowa, how about Iowa losing to Iowa State?
That's a travesty right there.
No, I mean, we kind of talked about that last week. Like, Iowa State has a tendency to go in and win that game.
Yeah.
From time to time. And so I think Iowa State, since they've got Matt Campbell, who I cannot believe still coaches at Iowa State, by the way. I think Florida should look at him personally, but I won't say that out loud.
Well, I want to talk about that here in a second. I got some inside information.
Okay. Well, I mean, I cannot believe there's not a big school looking at Matt Campbell.
Yeah.
Like, I can't believe it. Like, nobody is going to go play at Iowa State. Nobody. Even if they're good, getting someone to go there. So he's taking players who are like your second rate players, and he's making headway and having good seasons with Iowa State. How's that work? Anyway, I can't believe the dude hasn't been pulled away from that team. But other surprises, Kansas State almost went down to Tulane, who Oklahoma plays this week. So that should be fun.
When does Oklahoma play a real team?
Tennessee 2 weeks from now. So, and that's when the schedule really gets going, because I think it's Tennessee, Texas, Ole Miss, Auburn, Alabama, LSU. That's the schedule. So it's and then they have a big game against Missouri too, by the way, and Missouri's ranked top 10. So the schedule is insane. It's an SEC schedule. So if they run the gauntlet, only lose like 2 or 3 games, they have a chance of making the playoff.
Right.
They have a good defense as long as nobody gets hurt on that side of the ball. I don't know what's going on with their offense, but basically I feel like they're going to be holding on for dear life. That's what I feel like. Oh, and also remember the conversation we had about Colorado?
Yeah, they blow. They got work.
How I said they weren't any good. Like,
it's just turning into,
but they weren't any good.
Well, they won their first game.
Right. They won their first game. I
don't think anybody else said they were good.
No, I was just saying I just didn't see a team there that was any good.
Yeah, I think I read an article today about Colorado where Deion is not allowing the band to play the Colorado fight song after his son scores because they want the PA to play his new rap song.
What?
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Yeah. I mean, it's on the internet. It's got to be true.
That can't be real. That cannot be real.
And then like there are people out there that think that Deion is just there to be a chief marketing officer,
Yeah.
That he's not really a good football coach,
Man, well, we've yet to see anything.
Yeah.
So we're still waiting for him to show up with a good football team, right?
I would be highly surprised if he's at Colorado next year.
Oh, he won't be at Colorado next year. Someone will hire him, but he won't do any good there. I'm not sure he's that great of a coach.
Yeah.
I mean, like he didn't bring any scholarship athletes in.
Yeah.
He pulled everybody from the portal. Like, what's he doing? I mean, I've watched them play. Like they have a decent offense, but even their offense is small. They got to have better players. So
yeah, I mean, you can't do the speed thing for very long. I mean, size is going to beat speed every time.
So the other thing I wanted to talk about was I think Clemson's a better team than people give them credit for. I know they got run by 30 by Georgia in the first game of the year.
Yeah.
But I think they're good. I do. They beat App State 66-20.
They're playing App State.
Yeah, I know, but they did. Yeah. I mean, App State's known for some upsets. Surprise, surprise. I mean, Michigan, hello, and then
what that happened 15 years ago?
Yeah, but they beat NC State not too long ago, I guess, or was it UNC? Or anyway, like the one game we haven't talked about yet, and I was kind of saving it. But Texas rolled into Michigan
Yeah.
and just slaughtered Michigan.
Texas is good.
I think, and I hate to say it because we're going to have to play Texas in like a couple weeks or maybe 3 or 4 weeks. We're going to have to play Texas. And I think they're going to destroy us.
Does Texas play Georgia?
Well, that's a great question. They do play Georgia,
Do
and
they?
it might be at Texas. Well, let me take Texas Longhorns football schedule. Okay, here's their schedule. They just beat Michigan at Michigan. They play Texas San Antonio next weekend. Then they play Louisiana Monroe. And then they get into their SEC schedule. They do play Georgia at Texas October 19th.
That right there. I mean, game day is going to be there.
Oh, circle that game right there. I mean, that's going to be a game right now. It's 1 versus 2. I mean, as long as they don't lose to somebody like Oklahoma, even if they lose to Oklahoma pregame, that's still a huge game.
Sure.
That's still a huge game. So
that'll be billed as a preview of the national championship game.
Maybe the SEC title game too.
Yeah. They could play. I mean, really, if you look at it in this format that the SEC is in now, they could play 3 times. They could play once in the regular season, and if they both win out, they could play again in the SEC championship,
and then
they could play again in the playoff.
Yep,
that could happen. Play 3 times.
That could happen. Absolutely.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's interesting in this new college football format.
Yeah. Well, I want to hear your Gator inside information.
Okay. This actually comes, it's a pretty credible source, as you know. As I said on this program many times, I was on Celestial Radio for 4 years. Mm-hmm. So I got some people that are, quote unquote, in the know. And this comes from a journalist that works the Gator beat. Says that in the event of Billy Napier's termination after they get their fucking ass kicked by Texas A&M this week.
I don't think A&M's that good, so I don't think it's going to be that. But
it is in Gainesville, so that's there. And then
and they have a new quarterback, DJ.
Well, Napier came out today and said both of them are playing.
Okay,
yeah. So
because Lord knows you can't go wrong with 2 quarterbacks.
Well, I mean, the old adage of if you have 2 quarterbacks, you don't have any.
Right.
But in the event of the dismissal of Coach Billy Napier, the Gators are seriously looking at 3 coaches. Okay. All right. And those 3, these names are, legit. The first one is Oregon head coach Dan Lanning.
Yeah, we mentioned him, didn't we?
Right.
Yeah.
Ole Miss head coach Lane Kiffin.
We mentioned him already. You did. You brought him up.
Right. And former Florida Gator and Ohio State coach Urban Meyer.
How many times are we going to go back to the well? How many times? Please, God. Please, God. Can we not have another Urban Meyer sighting? Please, God.
And that information comes because this specific person is affiliated with a how can I say this without giving it away? The company that they're affiliated with has three letters.
Okay.
And they have a college football program on said network. and they said that they are preparing for somebody to not be there next year.
Okay.
So, Urban's not going to take just any job. It's going to have to be a big school, And but I don't know. Is
he even considering coming back into coaching?
I don't know. I thought his health was too bad, but Urban Meyer's never been a fan of this thing called The Truth. So never really been a fan, but I think he may come back to coaching because he wants to get, before he tried the Jaguars thing, he was arguably, I mean, shoe in College Football Hall of Fame, one of the greatest coaches, one of the only coaches to win national championships at different schools.
Right.
The only coach to take 3 different schools win 2 national championships at a school and then take another school undefeated. Because he was undefeated at Utah, they kind of claimed that, kind of a UCF national championship
Sure, yeah.
deal. But
They did beat Alabama.
yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
I mean,
so that's the one team that Urban Meyer really doesn't have a good track record against is Alabama. But anyhow, that's just the news that I heard.
all right, let me ask you this then.
Okay.
Of the 3 mentioned,
Yeah.
who would you prefer?
I probably prefer Kiffin.
Yeah, do you think it'd be easy to
Yeah.
get him from Ole Miss?
Oh, I mean, I think Florida has more money than Ole Miss, and I think they have a better. I don't think you're going to win a national championship with Ole Miss. I don't think. I think that they're good with 10-2, or whatever.
Yeah.
Every year. I don't think, and I think, what does Lane Kiffin have left to prove other than win a national championship as a head coach? I mean, he's arguably the best play caller in the country. Arguably.
Yep. I was hoping he would actually come to OU when they were searching for somebody new. Yeah.
He has gone from. Has he not gone from the villain to the darling over the course of his career? Because when he left Tennessee for USC, I mean, he was the villain.
I don't know if I'd call him the darling, but he's not a villain anymore.
Right. I mean, that's the whole. Let me go work for Nick Saban and get back in the good graces of everybody.
Right.
And then go to, where did he go? FAU? Yeah.
FAU and had a pretty dang good time there. I mean,
he's a good coach. He'll put together an offense.
Right.
And even Nick Saban said he's the best play caller in the country.
Oh, if he's not, he's like, I don't know who would be better. I can't. Maybe Lincoln Riley.
Oh, that was a 4th name for the Gators, was Lincoln Riley. Now it's like, if he even comes near Gainesville, somebody's going to shoot him.
I'll put it this way: your offense wouldn't suck.
Well, the thing is, we've got the Gators have some athletes. They got a good, good quarter. DJ Lagway's is a good future quarterback, and then they've got some athletes. So the well's not dry; it's just mismanaged. And that's and I will tell you this, and I know every fan base is like this to a degree, but the Gator fan base is probably, if not one of the most impatient fan bases in college football.
Probably rightfully so. I mean,
you
it's hard when you've had that type of success to not have it. You know what I mean? So makes sense.
So after we, every Gator fan right now is rooting for Texas A&M. And
I'm sure they are.
I'm just kidding. But
yeah.
So
well, moving on to I since we don't have St. Joe here, he's not with us currently. He's
and for those of you that don't know, he's on fucking vacation again.
Right. I think we get like 6 months with him at a time. Like we get 6 months with him a year. The other 6 months are on vacation, right? So so I did a little bit of research.
Okay.
He's in Ireland, right?
Yeah.
And so I thought, you know what? Ireland has an interesting, because I knew that just from a little bit of research, just prior to, just from my past, you ever watch PBS when you were young, like a kid? Like that was the only channel we got sometimes was PBS, right? And one day on PBS, there was a strange game on there. And I was like, what is this game? Like they were playing a mixture of basketball, rugby, and soccer. And I was like, what is this called? Right. Well, it turns out it is the most watched sport in in Ireland. Can you guess what it's called?
It's a cross between what?
It's a cross between, well, I mean, when you watch it, you're like, okay, the dude's dribbling the ball with his hands, but then he can't advance the ball forward by passing it with his hands. He has to kick it forward, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then he can't dribble a bunch either. He can only dribble like twice, so then he has to kick it or something. Anyway, so you can only score a goal with your foot. You can't throw it in the goal. And you can't advance the ball with your hands. You got to kick it. But you can dribble it to run, and it's all sorts of weird things. All sorts of weird
Okay.
things. So
It's
it's a
not
mixture
some
between rugby,
right.
soccer, and basketball ish. Because you can dribble with your hands. I guess.
All right. So in Ireland, the average blood alcohol level is 1.82. Which is, I think, 2.0 is their actual legal limit over there. So they could come up with I have no clue.
So it's called Gaelic football.
Gaelic football.
And you should look it up on YouTube. I am not kidding. It is actually kind of entertaining to watch these guys play this sport because it's not like any sport I've ever seen. And it's kind of fast paced, and there's a lot more scoring than soccer for sure. There's more scoring than rugby even. So it's weird.
You know how in soccer they have water breaks?
Yes.
Okay, so
No, there's no water breaks in soccer.
In Little League soccer there is.
Well, sure. Okay.
Okay, well, in Gaelic football there's Guinness breaks.
Probably.
Yeah.
Pass me another ale.
Yeah. No, Guinness is a stout. It's not an ale.
All right. Okay.
And it's they call it a pint.
Okay.
Yeah. Bring me another pint. I can't do the accent. I've said many times I can't do voices.
Okay.
I wish I could, but I can't. Anyhow, next.
So one of the other most popular sports, I don't know if you've seen this sport, you may have, but it's called hurling.
Hurling. Hurling to me is what you do when you've been at the pub too
long. Right? But like we're talking about these sports, they have 80,000 fans watching. It's crazy anyway. So but hurling is like a mixture between field hockey and lacrosse and baseball.
Okay.
So like you have this club, right?
All right.
And you whack a ball with a club in a goal. But
Sweet.
people can stop you.
Okay.
And you can only advance the ball to your teammates by hitting it with the club.
I can imagine the injuries already.
I mean, I'm looking at it like if you watch the replays on YouTube, you're like, I cannot believe people do not like lose a leg or, like, because these clubs that they're wielding are not, they are thick pieces of wood and they're like a flat baseball bat. I mean, it's
they're like paddles, right?
Essentially, but they're 3 feet long, right? So, and
like a cricket paddle.
Yes, but so like you think like a cricket paddle, but the handle is thin all the way to the end, and then it flattens out like a paddle.
Okay.
Right? And so they'll throw the ball up to advance it with people around them and take a full-fledged swing to hit this thing, 100 meters. Like it's crazy. Like it's I can see why people like to watch it in person. Like people will go like 80,000 people at a time will watch people play this game.
Right.
And I can see why people do, because when I watched it, I was mesmerized. Like they were hitting the ball hard at each other. Like, and then like there's no like there's a goalie. So like there's people getting in the way of this ball going 100 miles an hour.
Nice.
To block it with their body. You're like, this is crazy. Anyway, so hurling. And then the last one you may have heard of because you love baseball, but rounders.
Rounders.
Ever heard of it?
It's like wiffle ball.
So rounders is similar to baseball, has innings. You run around bases.
Okay.
They throw a ball at you much like they do in cricket, but the bat you use is like a foot long.
Oh, okay.
So it's weird, and you only swing with one hand.
Gotcha.
So it's really hard to hit the ball like way out of the park or something like that.
Right.
So it's an interesting thing. Each team can have up to 50 players. Not on the field all at once, but each team can have 50 players like rotationally.
Wow.
So it's Ireland has its own sports. Didn't know that.
Yeah.
And they're really popular sports in Ireland. So to St. Joe, who's probably in a pub right now.
He better be.
I mean, like he might be asleep, but he's not watching us because we don't have anybody watching us right now.
What was funny is the other night we're texting back and forth on the Unfiltered Sports Weekly thing, and I bring up like, I bet you St. Joe doesn't appreciate this. It's like 3 a.m. where he's at.
Right.
That's funny.
Yeah, it was funny because he texted us back and he said, "My wife's like, who the hell is texting you? It's 3:30 in the morning." Yeah, that's funny. So the last thing that I have, and I'm sure you've got your own thing, but you and I
have no thing.
Oh, okay. Well, you and I, in the name of St. Joe,
okay,
we're going to take this 21 question trivia test about the Chicago Bears.
This will be awesome.
I don't have the answers, so you and I are putting our heads together to try to get the right answers, and it'll be graded at the end.
Okay.
So here we go.
So this is like we enter the answer, and then it tells us how we did?
Yep.
Okay. What's the over-under? Like 20%?
Well, I guess we better bet on that. But there's 21 questions. We should probably do better than 20%.
Because I could think of a lot of NFL teams that you could give a fuck more about than the Chicago Bears.
Right. They're kind of obscure to me. I mean, I know a little bit, but not a lot.
Yeah.
So,
I do remember, I think somebody said along the line this week of how trying to figure out how somebody from Wisconsin is a Chicago Bear fan.
Yeah, I'm not sure how that occurs.
At least that was Mr. Thisler.
Maybe.
Mm-hmm. Who I believe beat St. Joe in fantasy football.
Right. All right.
Formerly,
so you ready?
Formerly of the Two Penny Podcast.
Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
Okay. So question 1.
Okay.
How many games did the Bears lose in the 2022 NFL regular season?
In the 2022 NFL regular season?
No Google.
No.
You have 4 options.
Okay.
13, 9, 14, or 7. 2022.
Was that the double dink year? Or double doink year?
I think they got Justin Fields this year, didn't they? So his first year.
Okay, yeah. I'm going to go 14.
Losses?
Yeah.
They had 14 losses in Justin Fields' first year?
They weren't good. They haven't been good for a couple of years. But double doink wasn't that long ago, but Justin Fields wasn't there. Yeah.
That means they went, 4-14? What is the record there? 3-14?
Yeah.
I'm gonna agree with you on that one.
Okay.
And it told us we were correct. All right. What number uniform did the Bears retire for NFL great George Halas? What was his number?
I have no fucking clue.
The number choices are 2, 77, 7, and 34. I think it's 34.
It's not 34. That was Walter Payton.
Okay. So, yeah, if they retired it, he wouldn't have worn it. Then I have no earthly idea.
I think it was 2, 77, and what?
7.
Okay, so it's not 7. George House wasn't a court. What position did he play?
Running back, right?
Running back?
Nope, I don't know. I just know that he
for some reason I want to say he was a defensive player, which would make 77.
77. All right, here we go. 77. Wrong.
No.
Number 7.
Okay.
Number 3. Who was the second head coach of who was the head coach of the 2019 Chicago Bears? Lovie Smith, Pete Carroll, Dirk Ketter, or Matt Nagy? 2019. It's not Matt Nagy.
Right. I think that was
It's not Pete Carroll.
in between Lovey Smith. It could be Cutter.
Dirk Cutter. I think
but-
Lovie Smith was way before.
Well,
Right?
Okay, it's not Pete Carroll. It's not Matt Nagy.
So it's between those two.
So I think it was Lovey Smith, and that he got fired, and they put Dirk Cutter in there for a year or two.
So Dirk Cutter.
Yeah.
All right. Wrong. Matt
It was-
Nagy.
Damn, he's been there for man.
Since 2019? Wow.
He's been there for 5 years.
I guess. I didn't
They
know
need to
that.
fire that motherfucker.
Probably.
How would one coach get 2 number 1 draft picks?
Yeah,
I mean 2 first round.
He's bad. That's how.
Usually you're attached to the, like Doug Peterson. He's attached to Trevor Lawrence.
Pretty much. So
Yeah.
number 4. What was the original name of the Chicago Bears cheerleaders? I guarantee you St. Joe knows this.
He would too.
Were they the Honey Bears, the Bear Lovers, the Bear Girls, or the Baby Bears?
Baby Bears?
You don't think it's Honey Bears?
It might be Honey Bears. I don't know. This is
I doubt that it's the Bear Girls or the Bear Lovers.
This is a dumb question, Mr. Beebs.
I'm going Honey Bears.
Okay.
Correct.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, baby. So we're 2 for 4. No. Yeah, 2 for 4. Okay. So we're above the 20% line for right now. Okay, number 5. Who did the Chicago Bears pick in the first round of the 2018 NFL draft? 2018 NFL draft.
2018
first round pick. So we have BJ Hill, Anthony Averett, Roquan Smith, and Braden Smith. I don't know any of those guys. I might know Roquan Smith.
I think it's him.
Okay. That's the only one that comes to mind for me. So, correct. Bingo. What uniform? Here we go. Here we go. And I know this one already. What uniform number did Chicago Bear Rex Grossman wear? 12, 9, 10, or 8?
It's 8, right?
Oh, I'll see. I think it's 8. But for some reason, I thought it was 16. But I think you're getting him confused with somebody else. So I think it's 8.
Yeah, I think it's 8. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, he wore 8 at Florida.
All right. So what was the longest losing streak for the 2022 Chicago Bears? 7 games, 3 games, 5 games, or 10 games? 2022.
They sucked, man. They lost 14 games that year. So I'm going 10.
Okay. I'll go 10 with you. Correct.
I mean, they were historically bad.
All right. How many?
Hey, the only team worse than them that year? Your Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yes, that's right. That's right. But did we have 10 losses in a row, though?
I don't think so.
All right. So how many road game wins did the Bears have in 2016? 2016. 1, 3, 0, or 5?
In 2016?
Yeah, road game wins. 2016.
I think that's a trick question. I'm going to go 0.
Okay. Correct. All right, here we go.
We're lighting it up. We're lighting it up.
What number uniform did the Bears retire for NFL great Gale Sayers? 4, 40, 66, or 41?
Okay, so Gale Sayers was a running back.
Yeah.
So we got 4, 40,
66, or 41. I thought he was 48, but I guess I don't know.
I think I'm going to go 40, 40.
I'm going to go with you on that one. Correct.
Nice.
All right. What was Alan Williams' job for the 2022 Chicago Bears? Offensive coordinator, trainer, defensive coordinator, or general manager? I don't know the answer to this question.
Kicker. I don't know. GM.
Okay. Nope.
No.
No, defensive coordinator.
DC.
All right. What place did the Chicago Bears finish in their division in the 2022 NFL season? I wonder whether this is a 2022. A lot of 2022 questions
Where did they finish?
in their division.
I'm gonna go last.
I'm gonna go last too. Correct. Soldier Field is a memorial to soldiers who died in what war? World War One, all wars, World War II, the Korean War.
That's a great question.
Boy,
That
he would
is-
know this one.
Man, that is a great question. That's a stupid history minute right there.
Mm-hmm.
Sooner or later I'll get around to NFL stadiums. I'm gonna go with all wars.
I'm gonna go too. I have a sneaky suspicion that it's the Korean War, but let's. Oh, all wars is correct.
Okay.
Who signed with the Bears on April 10th, 2023? Andrew Billings, Chase Allen, Ryan Anderson, or Larry Borom?
Yes.
April 10th, 2023.
I have no fucking clue.
Andrew Billings, Chase Allen. I'm saying Chase Allen.
Okay. I'll go with you.
Oh, it was Ryan Anderson. Okay.
Who the fuck is Ryan Anderson?
Who did Chicago hire? I know this one. This is one we're going to get.
Okay.
Who did Chicago hire as their head coach in 22? Casey Rogers, Matt Eberflus, Mike Vrabel, Stan Drayton.
Eberflus?
Yes, sir. Correct. How many Super Bowl touchdowns did Walter Payton score? Boy, I was not ready for this question. He only played in one Super Bowl.
Right.
So 0, 2, 5, or 1.
I think it's 0.
0 is correct. George Papa Hallis coached the Chicago Bears for how many years? 30, 20, 25, or 40? Not 40.
I don't know. 30?
I don't know the answer to this question.
Yeah, me neither.
30? Nope. It was 40.
Wow. That's a long time.
All right. Who recorded 680 tackles in his 4 seasons as a Chicago Bear? 4 seasons.
I'm going to go with Brian Urlacher.
Dick Butkus,
Sorry.
Brian Urlacher, Mike Singletary,
All right.
or Richard Dent. 4 years.
Wait, okay, so Urlacher was there for longer than 4 years,
Yes.
right? Yeah.
Yes.
And so was Butkus.
I'm going to say Mike Singletary.
Singletary? Oh, he was on that 85 team.
Yeah, but it's only 4 years. 4 seasons.
Who was the fourth guy?
Richard Dent.
Dent was on the 85 team too, wasn't he?
I don't
Or
know.
is he's since then? Yeah. Singletary's as good as any of them.
Brian Urlacher.
Really? He was only there for 4 years?
Oh, in his first 4 seasons.
Oh,
I read it
dude, you gotta read the damn question right.
Boy, I gotta be careful.
Man.
Ooh, we gotta stay above
that.
the line. All right. So, what uniform number did the Chicago Bears retire for NFL great Walter Payton?
34.
That's the one. Got that one right. Which was the only team to beat the Chicago Bears in 1985?
Do you know this?
I don't.
Okay.
The 4 teams are the Green Bay Packers.
Don't tell me.
Okay.
You don't know this?
I don't.
I watched this game with Tom Pound. It's my father.
So that's why you know.
Yeah, it was a Monday night football game against the Miami Dolphins.
Wow. Correct.
And it's ironic that had the Dolphins not beat them, they would have gone undefeated and been the second team to the Dolphins to be undefeated.
That is ironic.
Yeah.
All right.
Highly ironic.
What number uniform did the Bears retire for NFL great Brian Piccolo?
Okay.
Now,
when you use the term NFL great and you say somebody's name that I've never fucking heard of.
You've never heard of Brian Piccolo?
No, dude. I don't.
You've never read the book Brian Song?
I've seen the movie.
He was an NFL great.
I know. I didn't know that he was named after a fucking instrument.
All right. So, which number did he have? 24, 1, 41, or 55? He was a running back. I'm going to say.
Wait, say the numbers again.
24, 1, 41, 55. I knew this question was coming too, and I didn't know the answer.
How about 24?
It's as good as any. Wrong. 41. Wonderful.
Mm.
What last question? Which Chicago Bears player was also a track star and Olympian? Ricky Manning, Walter Payton, Willie Gault, or Jim McMahon?
I think it was Willie Gault.
I don't know who Willie Gault is. I don't think Walter Payton was an Olympian, and I don't think McMahon was an Olympian. So
For a while there, USA bobsledding was getting NFL players like Herschel Walker did,
Yeah.
and they were getting NFL players to push the
sleigh.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm gonna go Willie Gault.
Willie Gault is correct.
Look at that.
And we got 14 out of 21 correct.
Yes, that's a 70%, right?
Yeah, that's 70%.
Look at that on a team that no one gives a fuck about except St. Joe.
He probably would have gotten them all right? He
Right?
probably would have gotten all of them. He's
Sure.
gonna listen to this and be like shouting at us.
Sure.
Yeah.
But he may get them all right. So
Yeah.
I don't know. But anyhow, that's a good game. I like that game.
Yeah, me too. Learn new things.
Yeah. Do you have any more games?
I don't.
No?
Sorry. No, I don't.
Okay. Well, I think
I do have something funny though.
Bring it on.
I can hear my wife cackling in the other room because she's watching the Trump debate with Harris, and that's freaking funny.
You know what we should have done? Because
we should have done like play-by-play. We should have
we should have live streamed it. Because I could bring it up on the computer and like share the screen or whatever. And
that's a lawsuit waiting to happen.
Well, it's broadcast on YouTube anyway.
No, that's true.
That's true. I mean, it's on ABC, which is like free TV. You can get ABC on just if you have like a digital antenna.
That's true.
So I don't know about that, but I just, do you have any want to watch that train wreck?
Not for political reasons. Is that what you're asking?
Right. I mean, it's funny
for entertainment value. 100%. I'll watch that all day long because I'll laugh about it because I'll be like, "This is good." I'm waiting for the one line like he had against Hillary Clinton. You know what I mean?
Well,
like he has the one line. He had one against Joe Biden.
My favorite. Okay, so do you know who Shane Gillis is?
Yeah,
he's a stand-up comedian, right?
Yeah,
and I agree with him. I'm like, I don't necessarily agree with either side 100%, on their views or whatever.
Right.
But I was just like, please let Trump debate. Please let him debate, because I mean, if you go back to 2016, okay, when it was him and Hillary, and she would just say something and he'd be like, wrong. And we didn't really, we were just all that still then in 2016, we were just like, there's actually no way that they're going to allow Trump to be president. Right.
Right.
I mean, that's not going to happen.
We all thought this was we all just thought this was kind of, we all thought it was a sideshow. That's what we thought.
I mean, what, we're like, what the fuck is happening here? So he becomes president. And so you fast forward to 2020, where you got pandemic, you got all kinds of shit going on. And my favorite line out of that was actually not from Trump. It was from Biden, when Biden goes, "Man, will you just shut up?"
Yeah.
And then fast forward to this cycle, and the last one with him and Biden, and Biden, is there's President Biden. How do you feel about Medicare? He's like, and then Trump just goes, he's like, I don't know what he said. I don't think he knows what he said either.
or there was another line. He had two zingers. Like he had one about golf too. Biden's like, That's why I was that's why I was a +6 handicapper. He's like, I've seen your golf game. You're not you're not +6.
And
But
then
that's
they
neither here
go
nor
on
there.
for like 10 minutes
Right.
about their golf game. And we were just like, what the fuck is happening here? You know, can we go back to where the 40 somethings? Because you had Clinton, then W, and then Obama. You can say what you want about all three of those guys. Okay. Those three guys are very polarizing in probably opposite ways.
In various ways.
You know, in
Yes.
various ways. Clinton was too cool for school, man. Best politician ever to walk the face of the earth. No one is ever going to be able to change my mind. W, he made everybody think that they could be president. you know, and then Obama, I mean, he was just, I mean, a guy that you want to play basketball with.
Sure.
You know, so I mean, they all had endearing qualities. The country loved Clinton because the dude, not only if you had to be married to Hillary, you'd cheat on her too. You know what I'm saying? And the dude wore a Timex watch.
You'd be in jail.
Because you'd be in jail. Wrong. You know, you guys say what you want about Donald Trump. The dude is an entertainer.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like he's like David Copperfield. You know?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I told my wife, I'm like, we're gonna watch the first 10-15 minutes, and then after that it's just gonna be a train wreck. But like the first 10 to 15 minutes should be pretty lively, should be funny.
Yeah.
And it's not really about the political scene so much as I just want to laugh a little bit about what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I have not to promote it or anything, but I have a streaming service that has a live, feed on it, so you can watch like regular TV live.
Yeah.
And every time you click on one thing, it'll ask you if you want to watch it live or start from the beginning. And my shit's going to be like, start from the beginning.
That's right.
Because if you don't know, if you listen to us on Wednesday on the audio version, we are recording this at the same time that the debate is going on. So if we should have thought about it ahead of time and just had the whole episode where
I had my thoughts. I almost brought it up.
Commentary, now trust me, for the people out there, we're not giving political commentary. We think all of you people are fucking stupid. Okay. I mean, we agree a bit here, a bit here, a bit here, but all of you people that follow politics and think that you have a fucking say in it, go fuck yourself. Okay. Get a fucking sense of humor. Well, I mean, seriously, they're at our level of,
once again, everybody, that's at Keblives, KBLIVES.
At our level of citizenship, do you think that really what we have to say would give any indication on? Let me ask you this: in today's climate, okay, and this is about as political as I'm gonna get, and this isn't really politics, this is kind of social awareness. In today's climate, is there anything that I can say to you to change your political views?
Well, I mean, not that really would have anything to do with our candidates that are running right now.
Right.
Not at all. No, but that's the thing, is the candidates that are running, we've known them for a long time.
Sure.
So no one's changing their mind about anyone right now. You're not, like, whatever it's going to be is already, like, we're now just waiting till November 6th to find out, what everybody thought the whole time.
And the problem with, you say it yourself, it's the same people, it's the same cast,
over and over again.
The biggest show. And the whole reason that we can't get new cast members is because anybody that would actually be really good at that job doesn't want to run for that job, because fuck that.
Right.
I just think it's Washington, D.C., I've said it many times, Washington, D.C. is Hollywood for ugly people. I mean, it really is. But the great thing about America is that, you have one person over here that's defending what they believe, and you have another person defending what they believe, both at the top of their lungs, and no one gets shot for it. You know what I'm saying?
Agreed. Yep, agreed.
By the government.
Right.
And that's, that's the beauty of, America.
Yeah, America. Yeah,
America.
America.
Yeah. Welcome to
Oh,
Nashville.
I got something to tell you
Okay.
because you'll get this because you like history.
All right.
So today we were talking about Spanish conquistadors. You know what I'm
Okay.
talking about?
I do.
So I put the word up there, and these are seventh graders I'm working with, right? So I put the word up there. I was like, who can pronounce this word? And I asked that question, and I pointed at one person today, and I said, can you tell me what that, because they were talking when I said how it was actually pronounced.
All right.
And they were talking while I pronounced it correctly.
All right.
And I was like, okay, so you tell me how do you say this word, the words that's on the board right now? And you know what they said?
Huh.
Conquistator. And I immediately thought of you. I was like, conquistator. Oh, I'm writing that down.
Yeah,
And
that's
that might be
awesome.
your nickname for the rest of the year.
That's awesome. Real quick, talk about the network for a second.
Okay.
You had a really, really, really interesting finding your way last week.
I did.
It was interesting.
Yeah.
I got a couple of comments sent my way that was saying that I didn't know I could talk longer than a minute. Things of that nature. And
Right.
that just leads me to my next thing. Why don't you tell me you never listen to Unfiltered Sports Weekly, because you would know that I talk at length,
Too long.
about
Too long.
I mean, it depends on who you ask.
That's what she said.
Yeah. So I'm not gonna say that. My wife listens to this program. And it used to be. I'll tell you this: in the old days when we started this, I would get side-eyed every Wednesday.
Yep. Yeah.
Every Wednesday, I would get side-eyed, and I hadn't gotten side-eyed in a bit.
Yeah.
I need to. Maybe I'm getting soft in my old age.
It's possible.
Here, maybe I'm getting soft, but I hadn't got side-eyed in a while. So that either means that I haven't said anything that's that outlandish,
Or she's asleep.
or no. I'm talking about when she listens
Oh, okay.
to the program. Because she'll put in her earbuds, and then she'll be like, because I think one time, and this was a while ago, this was at the beginning, when I think it was just me and you, where I said that to a degree, I said women are overrated, and I was speaking about their driving, and she didn't like the fact that I was speaking ill of women. And I think I said to her in the car, I said, well, if women didn't do dumb shit, then I wouldn't say anything. And then that brought up like a whole nother conversation. And
I'm sure that
then
was a fun one.
I had to apologize to the women's live of America, and I'm just kidding. They're never getting an apology from me until they have driving courses.
Yes.
And then one time we were talking about feminists, like toxic femininity.
Yeah.
And how they should be ranked right up there with fucking ISIS. And there are people that didn't like that comparison. And
I thought it was a pretty astute observation.
I think it's fair. I think it's fucking fair. Toxic feminists are fucking terrorists.
Yeah.
I think it's fucking fair. And if you're a toxic feminist out there, fuck you. I mean, seriously, I think it's fucking fair. I'm not talking about feminists, because feminists, all a feminist is somebody who wants equal rights. So by definition, me and you are feminists.
Sure.
We want equal right, but equal white rights means a lot of things, like pay for fucking dinner. I mean, how about you open my fucking car door? I mean, just A Bronx Tale. I don't know if you've ever seen that movie, but it said a girlfriend to keep is when you open her door and she gets in the car and you shut the door and you walk around, she unlocks your door.
Yeah.
That right there, you got to keep her. No fucking woman's ever done that for me. You know, they're usually locking. Ha ha ha! You can't get in. I gotta use my fucking key. You know, and so anyhow,
Well, you deserve that. So
I don't know how do we get? Oh, we were going to talk about the network. So Finding Your Way was good. What do you have going on this week on Finding Your Way?
well, I'll just put it this way: we're continuing our series, but you're gonna have to tune in to find out.
Okay, so it's going to be a leader
Yes,
that did something cool in history.
yes. The history might be a little more personal to me.
Oh, okay. Okay. Let me ask you this. When you're on this series, which I thoroughly enjoy. And you know, of all people, I would. You know what I'm
Of
saying?
course. Yeah.
But would you consider, and no, I'm not gonna say Hitler, or Saddam Hussein. But would you consider Napoleon? Because that's questionable.
Sure. I mean, it depends on which version of Napoleon you're talking about, right? So, like early Napoleon or late Napoleon. Which one you want?
Well, it's just a general. You know, what about like
I don't know if I'm going to talk highly of someone who puts the emperor's crown on his own head.
sure, sure.
Right.
Well,
But I will say he was a great leader for France during a
what
time.
what about
It was
somebody
needed.
like Julius Caesar?
Yeah. Those are all people that are under consideration. Let's just put it that way.
I can't believe you haven't done Jesus yet.
Well, I've done Jesus multiple times as far as he gets mentioned
But
all the time.
take, you know, like we tried to do on the special Super History Month, take the religious connotations out of it and look at the dude from a leadership standpoint and a historical standpoint. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, yes, he was, you know, but like you did Martin Luther, and you did it more from the historical standpoint than from, you know, what people think of him from a religious standpoint. You can't remove the religious standpoint because that's why he was a leader. But you know, like minus, like look at the leadership part of it, and minus the hey, I'm walking on water and I'm turning bread into you know a bunch of loaves here and fish, and you know we wanted to get drunk, so we need more wine, and you know things like that.
Um, how about this? I'll consider it.
And for those of you out there that are saying, what does this have to do with sports? It has plenty to do with sports because every time LeBron misses a shot, he goes, Jesus. You know, so it has plenty to do with fucking, you know, sports. So anyhow, um, I look forward to your episode. You know,
Thanks.
St. Joe's not here, so we have to promote Nailed It. I can personally tell you, you're going to want to listen to next week's Nailed It. Personally, you're gonna want to listen.
You're gonna want to listen.
You're gonna want to listen to next week's
and
Nailed It.
check out the artwork.
Yeah, and there's an all new Nailed It coming on Monday. Yeah, and I mean that in every sense of the term. Nothing
Right.
you have ever heard on Nailed It is gonna be on Nailed It on Monday
Again. Yeah.
again.
Mhm.
So, but anyhow, what else?
I don't have anything else. Other than I'm gonna tune in and watch football. So
All right.
there's that.
Well, everybody tune in. Watch Gators lose. Hopefully, this will be the only weekend you will ever hear me root for the Philadelphia Phillies because they're playing the New York Mets.
Oh man. Yeah.
So say it with me. Fuck the Mets.
No.
No, I'm talking to our listeners.
Okay.
Yeah, fuck the Mets. 2 listeners in particular. Yeah. Yeah, Mets need to lose because the Braves and the Mets are in a tough battle for that wild card spot.
Right.
Yeah. So, and we're coming down to yet again the end of another baseball season. Where did it go? Seems like yesterday it was spring training, you know.
Mhm.
So, anyhow, for St. Joe, who seems to be abroad more than he is not, for the Beavs. My name is Kev. We'll catch you guys next week.
We'll catch you on the flippity flop.
Word.